Evening, fellas. How are you? I'm good. It's a good day. It's cold. It was cold as shit. I think the highest it got today was, at least that I saw, was 8 degrees. 8 degrees. I'm glad I have a warm car and I have seat warmers and I dressed warm. And it was hilarious. I was over at the kids' house the other day and I took my I was taking my socks off and I was like just taking one sock off after the other. I had like 3 pairs of socks on and all I was like, what's with all the socks, Gran? So yeah, but it was cold today. It was cold. Um, but I did good. It was a good day. It was I started about 10 o'clock and I probably could have stopped at 2, but I didn't. I stayed out till 4 because that's what I planned to do. I planned to stay out till 4. I was like, well, I'm gonna get out. I'm not gonna get out until 10. So the earliest, the latest, or the earliest I'm gonna come back is 4. Um, but at 2 o'clock, I probably could have come back. Um, but I went ahead and stayed out till 4 and got home about 4:30, and it was a good day. It was a good day. I'm not going to complain. Um, Came home and got my blankie and my heating pad and the truffles that Christy made me, and sat here and watched Outlander season 5 and ate truffles. I only ate 3 of them. They're super lovely. They're lovely. They're like they melt in your mouth. They got cocoa powder. She puts cocoa powder on. She like coats them in cocoa powder, and I like to like take a bite within. There's a good amount of cocoa powder on them, but I like to take a bite and then go like, and then it does like this cocoa powder puff. So that's kind of fun. That's all. And it's not like a lot, but you can like see it. Yeah, and they melt in your mouth, but they're super rich. They're so rich, and so 3 is like the limit. Um, yeah, so it was a nice night. I just kind of laid here with my warm heating pad and blankie and watched Outlander and did my nails. I went up and got the nail polish, and I was all like going upstairs. I'm like, Stormy, Outlander's just damn depressing tonight. She's like, I'm sorry, hun. It was damn depressing. And I probably could have just laid there and continued watching it, but I had to exercise, and so I did some Pilates and core shit, and so some like leg Pilates, and I was tough. Pilates looks so easy, but it's really not. It's really not an easy thing, and but I did it. And then I was like, I got to do this damn video, and so I'm doing the damn video. But it's a good day, I was at one point in time. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't think that I really wanted to be out there today. And who could blame me? It's nasty. It's cold. It's cold. So I was just a little bit like, I don't want to be out there. And so I was a little bit cranky, and I don't know. I was behind this lady, and we were driving down the 6th Avenue frontage road, and the speed limit down that road is 45. And she was going like just above 25. And there's like this, I was behind her, and there was like this long string of traffic behind me, and she was just going as slow as, it's like she was doing it intentionally just to be a bitch. Sorry, I shouldn't be like that. And I mean, there was times where she would like slam on her brakes just so that, I don't know, if I wasn't following super close, but had I been, and I wasn't paying like a little bit of, I was like just distracted for a second, I would have hit her. She was just nasty about it. She did it intentionally so that, I would slow down even more. I was already going like 20 miles an hour down the frontage road when it's supposed to be 45. I don't know what her deal was. So, anyways, she bugged me, and I think had I been, and after that I was like, okay, I need to get in a better place, because, there's no reason for me to get that upset about this lady. And I didn't want to be like that anymore the rest of the day. And because it's not loving to myself, Dr. Joe Dispenza tell you every time, when you behave like that, it's not loving to yourself. And so I had to get out of that frame of mind. I started listening to a Neville Goddard lecture last night that Brian Scott read, called the Pearl of Great Price. Beautiful lecture. It's like a 45-minute lecture, and I got like, I'm a little chilly. I got like, I don't know, halfway through it, and then Kayla called me. I was actually just sitting outside in front of the house because I wanted to finish listening to it. And then Kayla called me, and we talked, and then, by the time we got done talking, I was like, I just want to go inside. And so I didn't finish listening to it, and so I put it on after I was listening to it when that lady was doing her thing, but I was just like, maybe I wasn't. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure. Who knows? All I know is that, there's a point where I was just like, okay, I need to snap out of this. I need to get out of this. And so I just listened to that damn lecture over and over and over again. And I really, kind of committed to actually, actively listening to what was being said. And there was a point where I just kind of like sat in the parking lot and closed my eyes and just listened to it. And I think also what set me off was I did a Walmart order today. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but I got a Walmart order. It was like for $16 for 7 miles. I'm like, I'll do it. It was only 3 items. And it wasn't so bad. I might consider doing some of those occasionally, because it was like, got the order, went to the Walmart, and like I said, it was like 3 items. It was like that Miss Teal's or Mr. Teal's bath salts. There's a bag of 2 of those. It was Nutter Butters, which was another order, and then the third order was sanitizing wipes. And so, like, it's not bad. And so, and then you scan like the different orders, and then you deliver them. And yeah, so, and the only thing I didn't like was like, so the first order was way up on like West Colfax. It was Colfax and Taft. And then the next one was like over at Kentucky and Kipling, except it was like kind of in between Kipling and Wadsworth, like over in that neighborhood. And then the third one was like way over on Green Mountain. That's the only thing I didn't like, was that they were so freaking spaced out. Oh, I don't know. I don't think it really set me off, but it wasn't so bad. And so I started listening to, I listened to the Pearl of Great Price, that lecture. It's a beautiful lecture. And in it he talked about, Brian Scott talked about this interview that he had with this guy named 2020, and this dude's name, and I don't know if that is like a pen name or a pseudonym or whatever the fuck that is, or like an AKA. I don't know. I want to do more. I want to check this guy out because he's pretty interesting, and I want to know. I want to know if that's, first of all, if that's his real name. I don't know. Anyways, so this 2020 guy is like a Neville Goddard expert, and he has a website called freeneville.com where he has all of Neville's lectures free on this website. And I'm going to check that out. So anyways, so I was like, well, that sounds interesting. I wouldn't mind having like an idea, like somebody's opinion on Neville. And so I listened to this guy, and this it was a really cool interview, and I like this 2020 guy a lot. He just doesn't give a shit about censoring his language. And so initially he was like, he said crap, and he was like, well, I'm sorry, Brian, do you mind if I swear? Are you okay with profanity? And Brian was like, oh yeah, no problem. And so he's like, okay, well, shit and fuck and this and that and this fucking guy, and he's like, fuck yeah, and just like, it was hilarious. He just doesn't give a shit, which is cool, because that's me. I don't care. I try and censor myself because, my mom might watch, and she's asked me to not, and so it's hard. But anyways, so the interview was pretty cool, and I learned a lot, and the Pearl of Great Price is a beautiful lecture. It's a beautiful lecture, and I don't know. It's difficult, I know, because for me, when I first started listening to Brian Scott, and when he started really getting into Neville Goddard, when I first started listening to him, and at first I struggled with listening to his podcasts where Neville was concerned, because his content is triggering, because it is it talks about Jesus and God, and he uses a lot of scripture in his theology, in his doctrine, or whatever you want to call it, and to this, and so people have a difficult time with him, and even Brian's friends are like, you can stop with the Neville stuff. We don't like the Neville stuff. And Brian's like, why? It's the same kind of content that I have in my other podcasts. It's the same thing. And it's the whole, Jesus and God and the Bible stuff. People don't like that. People are triggered by it. The way they were brought up was probably the same way I was brought up. And so, people are resentful about that whole Christian idea. And the only thing I can say to that is, I tell you what, if a Christian listened to this shit, they'd be like, this shit's fucked up. This is sacrilege. This is wrong. This guy's the devil. This guy is the great deceiver. They would not like it at all. So it's not a Christian, he's not coming from a Christian theology mind. He's coming from, it's very metaphysical, In it, he talks about Christ. In this lecture, he talks about Christ, and how And the way he has people come to terms with it is he says that Christ is the wisdom and the power of God. And Christ is our own wonderful human imagination. And nobody can come to God except through that. And when we awaken to that knowledge that we are Christ and the wisdom and the power of God, then that's when we are able to access that imagination and work it in such a way that we are actually, we're resurrecting Christ in us. And from there, you using your wonderful human imagination, lovingly, is the wisdom and the power of God. And I don't know, I think it's lovely, and I don't know, it's kind of like the whole meditation thing. I don't know, I never expected myself to be that person. He talks about in The Feeling is the Secret how when you meditate, you should set out for it as if keeping an appointment with the lover. And that is exactly how I feel when I'm about to go into my meditation. I'm anxious. I'm like, all right. And there is no way that I would not keep that appointment. In that, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm communing with Christ, but Christ is me because Christ is my own wonderful human imagination. And, he talks about, in this lecture, he talks about this lady who, he talks about imagining lovingly. And so he talks about this lady who had gone to the bakery, and the lady that was helping her looked ill. She looked not well. And so the lady didn't say anything. She didn't be like, oh, what's wrong with you? You don't look so great. She just, when she left, she brought that lady to mind, and she, in her mind, she saw her as healthy and robust and full of vitality and, ready to face the world. And she was like, in her imagining, she told the lady, you look amazing, you look fabulous. And then the next time she went into the bakery and she saw the lady looked incredible. She looked young, she looked healthy, she was energetic, she was happy. And, and the lady's like, oh, what happened? You look amazing. And she's like, well, I inherited some money this week, and I was able to pay all my debts, and I have money left over, and, and I believe implicitly that it was from that lady who imagined something lovingly for her, and that's what he suggests. He suggests that when, you are, faced with something like that, to bring that person to mind, and in your mind, imagine something lovingly for that person. And so, like that lady today in the car in front of me, I should have just brought her to mind and imagined something lovingly for her, because she was obviously not having a good day, and her mood was setting me off, and the fact that she wanted to piss me off set me off. And I feel like a lot of our difficulties and our struggles and our suffering and the way that we interact with one another, I think that it could be greatly alleviated and we could benefit from that type of practice, that kind of discipline, just lovingly imagining something for that other person. And so that's kind of what I do in the morning after my meditation is, um, I spend a great deal of time in I don't know, in a where I'm sending energy, good, positive, loving energy to different people in my life. And Neville says, we are all an extension of God, and we are, and that we are God's garden, and it's our responsibility to cultivate this garden. Everybody in our world is a part of our garden, and so I kind of like see the people in my life is trees, and they are in my grove of trees. And I give each person in my life, they are a different tree. Like Bubs is like a rowan tree, and Addie is a hawthorn tree. Those are my two favorite trees. And and kind of like I see Chris as kind of like an aspen tree, and Kayla like a maple, and and so on and so on and so on. And he says to water those people in our life with, like, so I'll go like, I for example, like with Kayla, I know that, as a young mom, you're scared of a lot of things, and the world's a crazy place. And so, I water her tree with courage, with the waters of courage, and, the waters of strength. And, she has Oliver, who's like a handful, and he's a sassy little cuss, and, he's a little, they call him little pistol, and he is a little pistol. And you got to have a lot of patience to deal with that little guy. And so, I water her tree with patience, and with the waters of patience. And as I'm finishing it, I say, these waters that are flowing through you now are also flowing through me and through the rest of God's creation. And it's kind of like, and I'll visualize myself like holding on to the tree and feeling it, and like just sending, I love you, and have an amazing day today, and be well. And then I'll move on to the next tree. And like I know somebody who's having some health issues, and so I'll water their tree with waters of health and vitality and strength and courage, because when you're dealing with, certain, scary things, not the CO19 shit, but other health issues, that are scary, you need courage. And so I'll water, and again, I'll say, these waters that are flowing through you are also flowing through me and God's creation, and so, and that's how I start my morning. This is, I'm imagining loving things for these people in my life. And when I see somebody, on the road who doesn't have a home and it's cold out, I try really hard to imagine loving things for them, so like if somebody has a dog, I'll imagine this guy being able to buy like a huge bag of dog food for this his dog. And to be able to buy a big thing of dog food, he's going to have some place to keep that dog food, and a food dish for the dog. And and so, and that's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like how I do things, because like I said last night, this is my creation, and it's my responsibility to nurture everything within my creation. And so, and I think that that is a good way to do it. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this because I'm almost at 25 minutes, and I think it's good. But you guys have a good Friday night, and stay warm, and I love you, and don't forget to live abundantly.